Hi there, Victor Bra speaking to you, anarchist artist. Okay, another video for Remembrance Day. I know that this day, to criticize anything about this day is like stepping on sacred toes. It's akin to saying that Mother Teresa was a despicable human being, and she was. That's another video, but today I am going to talk about World War II and Remembrance Day. I'm not getting into any heavy video about the history of World War II and the complicated politics behind it. I'm just going to say something very simple, to the point, graspable, if not agreeable immediately, what I have to say. There are a lot of people who are of the sentiment that it was the only justified war, that the American imperialism and the travesty of Vietnam and the Iraq War, which to a large contingency of people was raw Baghdad justified war. More and more it's coming to light, I feel. The general cultural zeitgeist is that in hindsight is that it was a war of deception. It was an unnecessary war. It was an unjust war. It was an evil war, and we could just very well say that all wars are wars of evil. And but particularly talking about World War II, I know that this has it gave us the Andrew sisters. We got a lot of like heart-stringing patriotic songs have been rousted around it, and Hitler's always used up as the personification of evil. Whenever we want to refer to evil dictatorships, we never refer anything that's to the far left, like the Stalin's communist Russia, because the left have preempted and hijacked the fuzzy, cozy feeling of morality and righteousness when it comes to left-wing politics, and it's the right wings that are a bunch of retro caveman morons, and their God beliefs and things like that, and manifest destiny and God bless America and things like that. But of course, as a voluntarist and anarchist, I consider the whole kit and caboodle, the whole left, right wing paradigm as one massive cesspool of ideological goo and corruption and evil and falsehood. So, but I know that there's a large contingency of people who are beginning to grasp these ideas and to at least consider them and filter them. But there's still this great hesitation, this wanting to cling to this fantasy that government is necessary, that it's good, that things would be far worse if we were without such an institution. And people will draw up examples of aggression like Hitler, and he had to be stopped, and the World War II was justified. It was the only just war, and all the other wars, they might have been travesties. That's where the case of we had bad politicians in the seats of power, and mistakes have been made, and yada yada yada. But I'm here to tell you, and I know that I might be stepping on sacred toes, as I say, and treading into very treacherous, controversial waters. But no, I do not get all wussy and wispy and tearful for Remembrance Day and World War II. Okay, the fact of the matter is that all wars, okay, all wars, it doesn't matter if it's Libya, Iraq, North Korea, Britain, United States, whatever, all wars are not wars of protection. They're all wars of aggression. All wars of aggression. No country looks at another country and says, I'm going to launch this war and for the benefit of the people, of my country. It's for the benefit of my people and my country that I'm at the seat of power and I'm going to launch this war. And even a country that is on the receiving end of a country's aggression is not counter-fighting it in the sense of to protect the people. The upper echelons, the political elite, are only wildly, diversely interested in their own power. The people in power, the upper echelons, the ruling elite, are only interested in the preservation and the expansion of their own power, even when they're on the receiving end of aggression from another country. They do not care about the citizenry of their people. So, if I am going to the states intervened and took part in World War II, wasn't because of some noble, just, shining armor riding over the horizon with the yellow and pink and gray hues of the sunset settling in the background to save the day because they're fighting for the people. It was because their interests were being compromised and jeopardized or threatened. Their interest, not the interests of the people, the folk. Indirectly, if the people happen to benefit because of some war of aggression, because of American expansionism, or because Hitler invades Poland and it makes more elbow room for the German people, or whatever indirect benefits. But there's no ruling elite that cares about the people. And if I'm going to give any kind of moment of wistfulness or silence to this, I will give it for the fallen soldiers, not because they. What I feel sorry about for them is that they bought into this whole bullshit that Hitler's going to overtake the world. We'll all be speaking German, and thank God for the American troops and the Canadian troops who intervened when they did, or we'd all be speaking German today. This is just an outrageous piece of bullshit, and I can't believe that people are still buying into this. And now the fact of the matter is that government, any kind of government, it is a predatory entity. It has to sell soft soap and bullshit and propaganda in order to intellectually and morally disarm and law into some ridiculous, stupefied slumber of ideological bullshit to get people behind this thing. Look at the massive bullshit that the Bush and his goons sold us on the Iraqi war. The same is true for World War II. There's no difference in principle. These people are very good at what they do. I'm not saying that they're all idiots like Bush was. He was kind of like an embarrassment in the con game and the racket. But a lot of these people are very charming, glib, intelligent. They do have credentials behind them and very limited senses, like Obama. But for the most part, they're sociopaths. They are their whole interest is the expansion of their power. Just like another instance to give you of how these people do not care about the American people. I mean, look what's going on in the States today. Do you think for one moment that for a society that is on the brink of collapse, well, actually the Titanic has already been hit by the iceberg, it's just going down, and the mammoth expropriation of wealth into poverty and the economic destructions that being wrought was made by some kind of mistake. This is engineered, okay? And even at some point in time when the draft was in place, I mean, you live in a country of freedom, and there's the draft, there's the income tax, there's the military conscription, and there's the inflation of the dollar, there's the Patriot Act, all these violations of civil liberties and rights and wealth, and interfering into private citizens' moral life. These people don't care about you, for God's sakes. They're the first violators of your rights. They're not protecting your rights. So any war that is entered in, either a war of aggression or a war of defense, when a government retaliates against an aggressor, I don't care what kind of government we're talking about. They do not care about the citizens of their country. They're looking to preserve their seat in power unharmed. They're looking after themselves. They're looking after their friends. They're looking after their family. And how they do that, how they manage to make themselves all very comfortable and enabling them to jump out of the aircraft with golden parachutes once the whole ship goes down in the American economy. They will not be thinking about you. I'm sorry to have to break this to you, but they don't care. And so this whole thing about that they fought for our freedoms and they were brave men and women and things like that, they were severely propagandized cannon fodder that have been sucked into the whirlpool of propaganda, and they died like lambs to the slaughter. That's all it came down to. That's not to say that there could never ever be a justified war of retaliation to morally protect life and property. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm just saying that along with the Vietnam and along with the Iraqi War, that the World War II was just a lot of bullshit, and that the United States had their own ministers of propaganda as well. This is Victor Pross, anarchist artist, signing out. Pop goes the culture.